matters not. I suspect we'll have a quorum. It's actually looking very good for that, which is really bad news for the main hierarchy of the party. But it's actually looking very good. There's no way to know exactly who will show up. I mean, people say they'll show up and they don't. But as of now, it looks good. What I'll do is I will promise you that we will convene, we will conduct business, and then we'll see who has more people, because we're pretty sure that the party has no intention of reconvening in July. That's absolutely a tactic meant to divide. And it's important to notice this and to deal with this as what it is. Everything that's been going on here is tactics. Strategy and tactics. We had tactics. We used different things at convention, during convention, during the caucus, and the opposition, or at least at the time our opposition, did other things. I mean, they used tactics, and all this is tactics. You know, none of this is personal. It's not something to take personally. It's something to understand this is what goes on in politics. Anyone who's been to a convention before, anyone who's been through this process, I mean, this was somewhat of an extreme example at the end, but there had been a lot of back and forth going on over the last year that a lot of people weren't even aware of. This is just what happens in politics. It's just messy. It really is. So everybody has to realize that when this is all over, hopefully we're going to have a significant part to play in this party, in this country, in this county, and state. And, you know, if 4, 8, 10 years from now, somebody in this room is swinging the gavel, then we'll be doing it fairly. We won't be looking to run from the room. But you have to understand this was a tactic. This is something strategically that somebody thought of as a way to defeat us. Well, and what we're doing now is, again, a countering tactic. We are getting together as much as we possibly can at a quorum to conduct business. And as far as I'm concerned, if we can get a quorum, I don't care if it's at the Starbucks down the street or at the Rancho Adult, it doesn't really matter, because we can transact business. And I suspect we're going to get a lot more people than everybody else would like us to get. So that's what I can say. I've seen numbers. Again, those numbers change constantly, as Robert said. So the more of us that show up, the better chance that we don't even have to think about the legitimacy of the whole thing. Okay. Yes?
Sort of a vague question. The announcement of a week ago that Monpole was discontinuing the campaign.
Right.
It was heard by a lot of people, including delegates.
Sure.
And the first part of the question is, how might that impact their desire or willingness to attend?
Oh, it might impact some people's desire and willingness to attend. I understand that. Yeah.
And the second, probably 3 parts. The second part is, if we win ex-delegates,
Yes.
will we be, we'll still be able to attend the convention with those delegates, or is that?
Well, that's sort of the context here. When we reconvene, we conduct business, we elect delegates. We finish whatever elections we can. If we can get the results of the CD election, we get them counted and certified. But we certainly have the convention attempt to certify the results of CD1 and CD3 when the counts were finished. Once all that is done, we've elected our large delegates, then it goes to an appeal process, because if the party regulars decide that they want to do a mail-in ballot, which is really going to be the only other choice they have, they'll indeed have to prove that they had more support from delegates than we did, would be my feeling. And I'm suggesting that nobody send that piece of paper back that they sent out to ask whether we'd be willing to have a mail-in ballot. Everybody needs to just throw that in the trash. If it was on softer stock, I can tell you what you might want to do with it.
I was going to tell them to
No, there's no point sending it back. And here's how you know that the party is not serious about reconvening. They're charging $35. And the day of the convention, they said there will be absolutely no expense to the delegates for this new convention. This one's on us, folks.
But they need extra security.
They need extra security. And here's the other thing, and this is why we can't be petulant and we can't be juvenile about this. We want them to come to this convention. This is not our convention. This is the Republican State Convention, as far as we're concerned. We want Sue Loudon, Bob Beers, anybody else. I don't care if they called me a name. I don't care if they took a swing at me, which happened in the hall there. I don't care if they threatened my life on the phone, which happened a couple of times too. I don't want extra security. They're the ones talking about security. But we want them to be absolutely secure that they can come to our convention. They will be treated civilly, which is why I was upset about that song, Jason, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. We need to be more professional and more respectable and more respectful than they have been, which is not very much. Setting the bar pretty low, I understand. But really, this has to be done dispassionately because we are running a convention. If everybody came and they elected 34 delegates for John McCain, well, then that's how it would be. We'd be unhappy, and that would be the end of it. Okay? But that's how we want it to be. We want it to be so that a process that every Republican in this state who is a delegate and was a delegate feels comfortable in coming and participating in this convention, because that's exactly how it should be. And that's how it should have been last time, it's how it should be this time, and it's how it should be every time in the future, too. Okay. And part 7 of your question.
The other thing was that there's this other event going on in Minneapolis on National, which Ron Paul was paid to bring in 11,000 people. How does that jive with the convention? So he's not, I know he's not speaking, right?
He is not speaking at the convention. He has no interest in speaking at the convention. That's misreported all over the place. What he is doing is not a competing convention. It's nothing of the kind. It's a rally. But everybody knows that the national convention is basically a coronation. People go fight over platforms and fight over this and that. And in the end of the day, John McCain is the nominee. That's the end of the story, and we're all unhappy. But the truth is, it's mostly just for the TV networks, and even now the TV networks barely cover it anymore. So that's hardly even an excuse to have a convention at all at that point once you have your delegates. What he's having is an all-day rally. I understand. I think it's all day. Does anybody know the schedule of it? But it's going to be a rally. It's basically for his new movement as much as anything, for liberty-minded Republicans, constitutionalists to get together and to have lectures and celebrations for the day. And he's not really setting up a competing event. He's not trying to draw away from the convention. It's like 7 or 8 miles away, which in that city is a huge amount of distance, if you understand that. I don't think it's going to have any effect on it at all. Probably won't get much in the way of coverage, except maybe some Democratic media will try to make hay out of it. That's kind of silly.
But he does have 18,000 seats, and he says expecting 11,000.
Well, he doesn't really know what to expect, is what he's actually been saying, and I don't either. It's going to be tough to get into that city. There's going to be a lot of extra security. There's going to be a lot of flights filled. There's going to be a lot of hotel rooms that are already filled. You may have to stay in the left flea bag down the road. What's that?
Well, I checked for hotels. It's filled.
Yeah, it's really tough. And so, we'll get a lot of locals at the rally, I think, because they got a place to stay. Okay, any other? Yes, Jim?
Oh, so just say we didn't get a quorum, or we did, or they hold their next convention. We should not show up.
Oh, no.
If they do have.
There's no point in showing up at that convention. That won't ever happen.
Because they want a quorum.
I'm going to ride a unicorn to that July 26th convention. Sadly, my unicorn had a paper cut and died the other day. So that will not happen either. Yes, Robert?
I'd just like to make a comment that essentially the presidential race is over. We should concentrate on this state and what happens next.
Yes, exactly. It's really not about money. Robert's exactly right. This is really about the future of the Republican Party, how we want it to be run, how we see it being run, and ideology. I mean, if you look around this room, there is more ideology here. You can cut the ideology with a knife, it's so thick in the room. Whereas you go to the old-time Republican meetings, you go to your Central Committee meetings, and it's largely a social club. I mean, that's sort of how it's been for a long time. And these things ebb and flow, and that's part of why there's been so much resistance to us coming in. But